Hey, welcome to Old Ass Movie Reviews. I'm Scott. There's Dave, and we are taking a trip to, I believe, 1959's House
1959.
on Haunted Hill, directed by William Castle and starring the ever wonderful Vincent Price.
Man.
Yes. Dude, this is a fun movie.
Yeah,
Um,
it is.
just after coming off recently reviewing The Pit and the Pendulum, there's a
Mhm.
theme here that Vincent Price, in his movies at least, needs better wives.
Yeah, I remember you texting me that he needs better wives.
They keep
And I
trying to
think you
kill him.
quote that in every freaking movie, I think.
Oh my God. This
The
is
the
fun,
woman's
dude.
the woman's name
The,
is Carol Omar.
yes.
Hey, did you recognize her?
She looked very familiar. I want to say we've seen her in something that we might have reviewed,
I
but
I think it's Spider Baby. I think she's the blonde-haired lady that winds up at the end running around in the lingerie. I
uh-huh.
think
You
that's her.
think?
I
I am
think it
going
is.
back to look while we're talking about that. But this was a really this was a cool flick. It really was. You might be right here.
I rather enjoyed it. I thought it was a good. I remember the first time I saw this movie. I didn't know what to expect.
Right.
And then I believe I'd have to find it. I'm going to have to try and find it on here. I think this was made in 3D back in 59. I
It
think
it
this
definitely could have been a 3D movie, but I never got the sense like you do on some of them, at
right.
least like with Friday the 13th Part 3 3D, where
Yeah.
everybody was just everything was coming at the screen. It's like, okay, we get it. We get it. So here, folks,
Hello.
yes, this show is
This
in
is
3D. Yeah. Anyway,
yeah.
sorry.
Well, another movie that we had watched that was filmed in 3D, and I forgot about it, but now it makes sense when I watched something called 50 Worst Movies Ever Made. It was
Yes.
Robot Monster was in 3D.
Was it really? That makes sense.
And yeah, and
Robot
I'm looking at
Monster.
it like that totally makes sense. The way he was talking when he's on the big screen and the bubbles are just coming out. Like
Yes. The
now
bubbles,
I
yes.
see it. Now I see the 3D.
Robot
This
Monster,
looked at
man. That,
yeah.
oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah, just go watch our review on that, folks, if you can find it.
And
It's that one.
actually, I think the movie's worth a watch.
And
It has some
it's a
ideas.
bad it's a bad movie, but after we talked about it, it's like I know why it was bad.
Yeah.
I know why
Yeah.
it was
We
bad.
yeah.
It was
I mean,
it was totally meant to be exactly what it was.
it's a movie. It's got actors. It's got some
Well,
ideas, and it has a beginning and an end. I mean, what more could you want? You could want something as entertaining as House on Haunted Hill. You can't go wrong with this one. This
no,
is
you can't.
another double cross twist.
Right?
Who done it? But it's. Correct me if I'm wrong. There's no ghost in this. This house ain't haunted.
No, there's not.
Yep, that's what I thought.
But the one guy insists that there are ghosts. And at the end of the movie, he's like, "Yeah, there's more ghosts here now." And he's looking around like, "Yeah, this is crazy." Because that guy's totally he's flipped, but he's
Yes.
convinced that there's ghosts still in the
Well,
house.
yeah, he's the owner of the house, which is so weird. The owner of the house knows all this about it, but and he's so
Was
afraid
he
of it,
the
but he
owner? I
has.
didn't get that. What he was
I
the
thought he
owner,
was the owner. Yeah, he had inherited it or something,
but
and he
he
had
didn't stay
stayed
there. He didn't live there.
one night. He stayed, and it drove him kind of crazy,
Yeah, because somebody was murdered.
insane.
His sister was murdered,
Yeah,
right? His
that's what
family
it.
or whatever. It yeah,
He,
it's
dude, he
really
was
weird because that
so.
one was never solved.
Yeah, that was never really solved because he kept talking about these murders and these heads, and but you know what? That's okay. We can't don't if you really dig in and start analyzing this movie, you're gonna pull this thread and the whole thing's gonna come apart. It's an entertaining flick.
I don't think so because I think they put that stuff there that you can't really pull it apart. You're like, well, like you said, there was no ghost. Well,
Yeah.
no, there wasn't, or was there?
I think it was meant to be ambiguous.
Yeah.
That I think
Uh,
that guy was a
really
design to give what's that?
I never really thought about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, I think he was put in place to make the viewer think there's ghost.
Yeah. Yeah.
because the whole time I'm watching it, I'm waiting for ghosts. It's like, oh wow, and then you find out it's not. And this one again, Vincent Price needs better wives.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No shit.
so
Now,
so go ahead.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say
Go
the
ahead.
setup for this movie is this rich playboy, and he's on his third wife. His other two have died, and of course, there's all these rumors that he's killed them or something like that.
Mhm.
And he's having a party for his third wife's birthday.
Right.
Dude, I love their interaction. These two, Carol Omar and Vincent Price, their banter and their sarcasm. I mean, it's daggers. It's
Oh
it's
yeah. They don't
vicious,
like each other.
and you see it, and it's funny. It's absolutely hilarious, man. Oh wow, yeah, that was
Yeah, they don't like each other at all. And initially I wind up siding with Vincent Price at the end of the movie. I mean,
absolutely,
I'm all in
absolutely.
but I wanted to ask you a question. Elijah Cook Jr. was
Mm-hmm.
Watson Pritchard. Did you recognize who he was? Did you recognize the actor?
No,
He's in
hold
another
on.
movie, plays a gunsel.
Austin Pritchard. No, I didn't. No, you're gonna have to.
Elijah Cook Jr.
Oh,
is
Elijah
the
Cook, Watson Pritchard. Okay. He looks so familiar, dude. He really does.
He's in the
Yeah.
Sam Spade movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was he the little
He was the gunsel. He was the two-gun kid. Yeah.
Yeah, the little wise guy, the little
You better watch yourself. I'm gonna
yes,
wind
yeah,
up filling you full of lead.
yeah. Okay, yes, yes,
Why don't you
yes.
stop giving these guns to kids? That's my mind just went blank.
It's okay. It happens as we
Maltese Falcon. There's a
yes.
Maltese Falcon where he's plays a good little Weasley guy there.
Yes.
And when he plays a completely different character, I almost don't recognize him in this role compared to that other role. That's a sign of a good actor for me. When you can't put two and two together,
Mhm.
like, oh crap.
Well, there's a lot of good actors in this.
Yeah, the only reason I recognize Carol Omar was because there's this picture that they have on IMDb.
It's
She's
the
like,
Spider Baby.
yeah, it's like that's her. That's the lady.
Yep.
Do you recognize Richard Long? Now, for some of you folks aren't going to know some of these people that I'm talking to or about their shows. Richard Long was Lance Schroeder. He was the guy that was hanging out with the younger girl trying to protect her.
Yeah.
He's like, they're each trying to win the money.
He looks so familiar too. That's just it. Yeah, they all look familiar to me, but I couldn't tell you where they were from.
Big character actor. He did a couple of episodes of Twilight Zones back in the 60s, but he also was Nanny. He was the professor from Nanny and the Professor.
Oh, okay.
The old television series.
Right.
Yeah, he was a good character actor. He was really good. Carolyn Craig, I don't know what else she did. She was the little girl Nora Manning, and they trying to find out why she was even there. She just worked for Price somewhere in his corporations that he had, and just everybody's going to get $10,000 if you can stay there the whole night.
I want to talk about something on this that it just popped into my head. This movie sets up something that never really gets exploited.
Mm-hmm.
Is that he chose each and every one of these people to come based on their level of greed and how much they needed to be there, so we could ensure they were there.
Right. At least show up.
And maybe that's all there was to it. That's all he needed, because he needed to have witnesses there, because in order to outsmart his wife,
right.
I think maybe that was why he chose them. But it gave me a slight moment to think of a newer film, Saw, that has a thing where people are rounded up based on their greed or their insensitivity or something like that, and all punished. And I thought, oh, are we going to go this route here? Are these people gathered? Are they going to have one common thread? And not really, but maybe it was just a tool to get them to be witnesses. I don't know.
See, I couldn't figure out that. See, to me, that was an odd thing to do, because at first I thought it was everybody that did something to him, and he was going to get
Right.
even. And the only person that he didn't have a grudge against was the little girl. Like he was
Mhm.
actually trying to be nice to her, like, oh, she's going to need 10 grand and I'm sure she'll make it, kind of thing. But that to me never paid off. Like he didn't take revenge on anybody
Mhm.
except for one person. Well, two people takes revenge
Yeah.
on, deservedly so. I don't know how do we want to ruin? Yeah, folks, if you haven't
We
watched
can
this
ruin it.
before, we ruin
We
everything.
can ruin it.
We watch a
Here's your
movie.
moment to back out.
There's the whole thing is he's got a group of people that come to the house. He locks them in for the night, and all of a sudden there's this terrible stuff happening, like gunshots and people trying to kill people. The wife hangs herself. Vincent Price's wife hangs herself. She's hanging,
Yeah.
and they put her down in the bed, and they're like, "Oh my God, where were you when she got hung? Where
Oh,
were you?"
everything makes it look like Vincent Price's character has
Yeah,
done her in because she does such a number trying to convince the guests that he's out to get her. But in the
yeah,
meantime, what she doesn't realize is he has been planning this for a long time because it
right.
is so set up, it is so orchestrated. They just play right into his trap the whole
Mhm.
freaking time, man. It's a masterpiece.
Exactly,
As
and
far
and
as what his plan is a masterpiece.
and he knows that the wife is planning to kill him. He
Hmm.
knows her boyfriend is planning to kill him. He knows who the boyfriend is.
Oh, he
He
knows
figured all this
everything.
out. But as a viewer, you're watching all this misdirection. Like, is that the
Yes.
boyfriend? Is that the guy that's trying to kill him? No, it's got to be this guy. This guy's so not
And then for a
obvious. It's
moment,
got
I
to be
think
this
it's him,
guy.
you know?
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, I'm like, no, maybe Vincent Price is just a jerk. Maybe
Yeah.
he is killing it. And then all of a sudden, they show you. They at least let you know who the two real villains are,
Yes.
and you're like, oh crap, they're gonna pull this off. Son of a bitch.
Yeah. I honestly, dude, I thought they pulled it off.
Yeah,
And
I
I
the
was
first time I
hopeful.
watched this, mhm,
Good edit. Good edit. There is a
there,
scene where you don't know whether or not Vincent Price's character is dead or alive. What happened? It just goes
right,
to black. You hear a struggle, a splash into a vat of acid, and then we're on to the next scene. And it's like you're left waiting
yeah,
and
yeah.
waiting. And oh God, it was
And then the
brilliant.
wife, oh, when the wife gets there, she's like, "You killed him. You Is he dead? Is he dead?" And then all of a sudden, she hears this rattling. She kind of turns, and there's this poorly done skeleton
Ah,
work
but
because
so
it's the
easy
same,
to work
same
with some
skeleton
cranks.
thing. Yeah, the skeleton's coming at her, and she freaks out and she falls into the vat of
Oh
acid.
my God, dude, she
And
screams for so long. It's like,
well, the one
it's
girl,
like, will you fall in the acid already?
Carolyn Carolyn Craig, the actress Carolyn Craig, who plays Nora Manning, she does a lot of screaming in this movie
Oh
too.
my God, yes.
And I'm like, oh my God, I forgot how much women screamed in movies back in those
Oh
days.
yeah. Yeah.
It's like, I'm sure women screamed back then. Like, yeah, I would have screamed back then too if I was being
It was
attacked.
over the top for effect
But
to
it's
to
always
try and
over the
sell
top.
the scare. Yeah.
And that's what made this work. It made it it made it work so good.
Yeah.
And it is just that house is freaking
That's
gorgeous on
cool.
the outside, man. And that's a real house. I forgot. I want to say it was either turned into a museum or it's actually somebody still living there. This is a few years ago. I had seen a special about that house. I think it's the same house that they used in the newer version of House on
Yeah, I'm
Haunted
not
Hill.
sure. It might be. I remember now. It's been a long time since I've seen the remake, the newer one. I think it's '99 or something like that.
How close is it?
I don't remember. That's just it. What I was
Oh, okay.
thinking, I remember it was much more gory. It was much more
Oh,
violent.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
I don't know if it necessarily had the twist ending. I think it had real ghosts in this one.
Oh,
I
okay.
think it actually had ghosts. So I want to watch it again. I remember thinking, hey, that was kind of a cool flick. But I might be getting it confused with 13 Ghosts. I'm not sure. The remake of 13 Ghosts.
What's funny is I think I watched this on Tubi, and right
I did as
after
well.
House on Haunted Hill went off, for me, 13 Ghosts came on.
Ah, the original?
Yeah, the original.
Oh,
And I just started laughing. And I'm like, oh God, I gotta watch that. I said maybe you and I can watch that one
we
later.
should. I've never seen it. I've never seen the
Neither have
original.
I. I don't
I've
think I've
only
ever
seen.
seen this one.
I love the remake. I think the remake's fun. So
Oh, is it? Is it
yeah, it's fun.
okay?
It's
I don't
fun.
mind. I don't mind if they do a remake and they keep it in the same feeling,
Yeah.
for lack of a better term. That
Well,
I know you have to have new technology.
when I say
Sorry, go ahead.
fun, it's not lighthearted, but it's an enjoyable
What?
horror flick with real ghosts. I mean, and
like
lots of gore. But yeah,
1,000 Corpses or whatever it was that we
no,
watched.
it's not nothing like that. It's
Oh,
nothing like
good.
that. It's much more sanitized. Yeah, no, it's a decent one. We should do a section of ghost movies.
Okay.
So there's a lot of good ones, a lot of good ones.
Yeah.
But folks, you can't go wrong with House on Haunted Hill. It's a good whodunit, nice revenge twist in the end. And damn it, it's Vincent Price. What more can I say?
Damn it, they had good writers back then.
Yes.
I mean, you may think this is kind of corny when you go in there and you're like, well, the special effects are this or this, that. Look, they were lower budget
to the movie.
movies. He did a lot of lower budget movies, but he did it because he liked the stories. He was, he could just do that look with his face.
He's a wonderful actor. Was a wonderful actor, yes.
A little bit. And you're like, oh, something nasty's gonna happen to somebody.
It's his delivery, it's everything. It's just I love watching him act.
He's brilliant. He is in a world of his own. He's in a school of his own. Hi,
absolutely.
Dog. My dog just came in, sat down, and looked up at me like,
awesome. Hey, your dog likes Vincent Price too. So, folks, I highly recommend House on Haunted Hill, 1959, starring Vincent Price and Carol O'Mart, and Dave does too. All right. So, thanks for joining us. Hit the like, hit the share, hit the subscribe, and we will catch you next week with another old ass movie.